What's going on, everybody? This is James Grandmaster Facts Boyce, and you're here for another episode of the Facts Project. Today, special guest, very fucking special, by the way, David Crownson, Kingwood Comics, creator of Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer, and Nightmare in Newark. Thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you for having me.
You know what I'm saying? Look, I feel like this past week you have gone through like press junkets. Like I think I've seen you like on a bunch of other podcasts. I'm like, man, this dude is like everywhere, and then he's on TV. He's got interviews here and there. I'm like, this feels like media day for you.
Yes, yes. Which I am grateful for. Like, I'm glad that people are like, yeah, we want to talk to you about your book, and not like, you know, leave us alone, Negro.
Right.
Like, I'm glad it's that.
Right. And the thing is, like, in 2019, of course, a lot of us got a chance to know each other on social media. Of course, I got a chance to get your book. Me and you correspond to the point where I could get books 1 through 4 of Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer, because I had first heard of you through TJ Sterling, good friend of mine, good friend. So literally, he was like, he was in a panel with you at the Schomburg in New York for the Black Comic Book Festival. And and I remember I had a discussion with him, and of course we were all talking about Okemos at that time, and he was like, yo, you gotta get David's book. I was like, Demon Slayer? He was like, listen, you gotta get it. So I hit you up to the point where I got 1 through 4 like right away. And of course, I was blown away. Now, from my point of view, and just from reading like a few the articles that basically have come out, you can describe it as historical perspective mixed in with kung fu and katanas and Grimm's fairy tale with Hansel and Gretel's witch hunters.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
For those people who have never heard of Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer, how would you describe it?
I would just like I mean, I do all my research, so it's a straight up biography with like a twist. You know, it's Harriet Tubman as we know and love her, but you know, what if, you know, she had, this is already without the bells and whistles. This is already like an action story naturally. So I'm like, yeah, what if it's like it's at night? What if like a werewolf showed up? And Harriet Tubman like was like, yo, I got this. And everyone's like, what? And she's like, I got this. And I thought that visual of like a 4'11", you know, dark skinned Black woman like beating up like a demon, it just seemed really cool, you know. So yeah, I would just, I always say like some of this happened. Right. I'm putting that like in the graphic novel. I'm gonna like just have a disclosure like some of this actually happened.
Right. Exactly.
You know, just to be like funny about it. But yeah, historical fiction, historical fan fiction as well. So yeah, I just took everything that I love with like horror, comic books, superheroes, and history, and just kind of mix it in this bowl, and it became Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer.
Got you. Now, as far as your writing style, do you feel as though it helps having a bit of unpredictability in comics?
Yeah, because I think it makes it, as a writer, I try to outline as much as I can, but some things I'm like, wait, it raises the stakes if I do this. Like I had a really cool experience on like this most recent issue 7. And like I'm like, I haven't put Harriet like in danger yet. You know, she's had to worry about other people, but in issue 7, her vulnerability gets explored. And also like, you know, the real life Harriet Tubman, you know, she had like this like sleep. I keep forgetting the name of it. I don't know. I always want to say epilepsy or narcolepsy, probably narcolepsy. Right. And where she gets tired and would fall asleep. And I'm like, wait, I need to explore that. And how scary would that be if, like, let's say like Superman comes to save you, he's like, yo, I got y'all. And then he's like, wait, It like passes out.
Just falls out the sky.
He's like, what? Like what? Like that is like that would be terrifying, you know?
Right.
So yeah, like so I think I was on my way and I was writing and I was really in tune and focused with the story. I was like, wait, let me go this way instead.
Right.
And my editor read it, Shonda J. Brown, and she's like, I liked how that went in that direction better than the outline. Because I think as a writer or as a creative, you just have to make the outline just so your brain like has a map, you know?
Yeah.
And, but then when you're like in it and you're going in deep on it, you can kind of improvise, and it's kind of like jazz or like music. It's like, okay, let's go this direction. Let's play it this way. And
Right.
it makes it much more interesting and fun for you, the creator, and then also makes it fun and interesting for the reader.
Mhm.
So that's how I like to at least do it.
Now, in the early stages of you putting this book together, I know that you had talked about in the context of slavery, the re-traumatization of slavery and entertainment, and how
Mhm.
that's bothersome to a lot of the audience.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like when I was making this, I was inspired by this quote where slavery is white history, black history is how like we were resilient and escaped it and got through it.
Mm.
And I wanted to make it about that like section, because usually when you see slave movies, it's us being beaten, tortured, killed, murdered a bunch of times, and then it's that sends a message when it's like, and the Oscar goes to like that's
Yeah.
a thing.
Uh, like,
Like that's a thing. It's like black person that was murdered and tortured and raped and killed. Here's your Academy Award, or here's your goal, here's your award. It's like, why are we being rewarded for
right.
that? Or if it's Django, it's a white man wrote and created and directed this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then when it's that, it's like, oh, and the Oscar goes to So with this, I'm just like, I had made this at a time where, or had the idea when like just you're seeing it in the news, people are getting away, police officers, random ass white people
Yeah.
getting away for murdering us on camera, and like the whole nation sees it and then
Mm-hmm.
goes not guilty, and that does something. So this comic book was a lot of my like catharsis that I had to work some stuff out because I was really mad because like things politically were, I think Trump had like just become president,
Mm-hmm.
and I was already doing it, like doing the comic book, because I was like, oh, like this is a fun thing, like Harriet Tubman gonna be whooping some ass, like this is fun.
Mm-hmm.
um and then like your new president is this person, like like blatant racism all over the place, and it being okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like no, like it can't be like this. So just making I usually go like every issue, like a racist gets slapped or hit in the face. I try not to go a chapter without a racist getting hit. Like I will literally like push a book, an issue back. I was like, wait, a racist wasn't slapped, we have to go back and draw some new shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like that is oh my god, they killed Kenny of the series. Where I was like, yeah, we have to put this in. We have to like a racist has to get hit. Like I don't want to see us getting whipped or hit. Or if we
Mm-hmm.
do, it has to be really brief, and there needs to be vengeance within 5 seconds. Because they almost like in film and TV, it's almost like romanticized, like torture
True.
porn.
Yep. And even so, I guess in the news this past week, I've literally just channeling through like social media. There was the banning of the graphic novel Mouse. That was which is, yeah, I saw when you posted it, I posted it as well. Like we signing the
Yeah,
petition.
sign the
Like
yeah. Thank
so,
you.
So because of the, like, literally, we're talking about a graphic novel replacing humans
Mhm.
with mice, and in
Yeah.
pertinence to the factual characterization of the Holocaust, and yet a state like Tennessee, below the Bible Belt, decides to ban the book. So for a medium, books, for anybody that doesn't tell you, books still mean something in the process of being a virtual medium. And yet a book like this that doesn't detail humans at all, but that has the perspective of the Holocaust, gets banned.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man. They're like the critical race theory. And I was like, what? It's like, what? Like, I don't get it. like,
Yeah.
like the kid's gonna find out. Like, I think I saw someone tweet about that, and they were like, "This makes my children uncomfortable to know that this book exists or knows that they have to be taught racism. It makes my children uncomfortable." And I was like, "Yo, uh, wait, I don't know if I can curse on this. Wait, can I curse
Yes, you
on this?"
can.
All right, good. I'm sorry, yo. Fuck your kids' feelings. You wanna know why? Because you wanna know who was really uncomfortable, motherfucker? A Jewish kid who was murdered. You
Right.
wanna know who was really uncomfortable? Like, so in the civil rights, like Emmett Till, who was hung, and he was a
Hmm.
kid. He was a kid. He's a baby. And that's uncomfortable. Like, I'm
Right.
sorry you're uncomfortable if you have to like read or learn about it for a week.
Yeah.
Like learn about it for like a couple days, and then you get to go back to your normal life. Like, these people are like the whole entire Till family,
Mm.
like his grandma, like I don't know if he has any living family members, but I know like probably like cousins and great nieces. They have to live with that like
Absolutely.
forever.
So, and the thing is,
um
it's not like it was a long time ago. Like, some of them still have
yeah,
to live the trauma of the funeral. Like I
yeah,
was there.
yeah. And some of them like I think one of them was on because like the movie is out
Yeah.
now, and they were like talking about it, and they showed like like his cousins, and they're like I'm not, my mom's not like an old person,
Hmm.
but like people like who are my mom's age,
Yeah.
who are like, oh yeah, I remember that, like it was yesterday. And I was like, damn. And they were like,
Hmm.
yeah, I was 12 when that happened. They're like in their 60s, 70s, or something like that now.
Hmm.
Um, so like those books need to exist, and
Right.
those stories have to be out there. Um, but like, let them try to cancel my shit. I'll be mad.
Yeah.
They probably
It's,
will.
it's almost like the absence of being uncomfortable. Oftentimes, of course, we've had a lot of Black parents that have had to have uncomfortable discussions with their children. And yet, because of the ways of the world,
Mhm.
the act of being uncomfortable to a lot of white parents just seems to be deceiving in their eyes.
Yeah, man. Like, what's it called? Like, it's like that damn Chris Rock sketch where he's talking about like his kids, and he's like, "Oh, you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up." But he always felt like he was like bullshitting when he said
Yeah.
that to or like when before like Barack Obama, before any of that. He's like, "Man, I kind of feel like." He's like, "But white parents don't have to have that like thing where
Yeah.
you can be whatever you want, Billy." And they're like, Dad, I know I can be whatever the fuck I want
Hmm.
to be." Like they don't have to coach them around for it, really.
Yeah, because I
Um,
remember in that same perspective, he was talking about the neighborhood in which he lived in. I think he lives in like Alpine, New Jersey, and everything like that. He was like,
yeah,
he's like, there's me, Mary J. Blige, and Eddie Murphy has like a East Coast home over here. And he was like, and everybody else in the town is just some dentist, the dude that owns a trash company, and some lawyers. He was like, so we had to fucking fly to the shit that they had to walk to.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that quote. The black man has to fly where the white man can walk.
Right?
The accents, like it's a thing.
Right.
It's a whole thing. Yeah, man. So I just would just be like, like, trust me, you don't know anything about being uncomfortable when I hear that. I was like, take it easy. Like, you'll be fine. You'll be all right.
Man. So can I, your collaboration with Courtland Ellis,
Mhm,
I'm sorry.
mhm.
Tell us how that began.
So I had the idea to make the comic, and something was just like, I'm like, I'm like, I gotta make it this year, or try something.
Mhm.
This was like in like 2016. I had been working on the story, and I knew I wanted to do it. I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but so I just kind of started like looking up comic book illustrators and looking at people's work on Instagram and Facebook, and like Deviant Art, Artist Station, and I saw Courtland's like profile picture on Facebook, and I really liked his work. So I just messaged him. I said, "Hey man, like I really like your work. It looks dope." And he was like, "Thanks." And I said, "Hey, I would love for you to be the artist on my comic book." And he's like, "What's your comic book?" I'm like, "Oh, it's called Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer." And he's like, "We're gonna get in a lot of trouble. Let's do it." You know. So yo, let's do it. Let's do this shit. So I was like, all right, cool. So so I had the idea for the cover, and I'm like, I want it to be Harriet Tubman like looking at us, and it to be like intense, and her katanas crossing, and in the reflection of her katanas, um, I just want like a reflection of like demons and witches and where. Yeah, yes, that exactly. That exactly. I took a screenshot of this. That exactly. So what's it called? I'm gonna use that when I post this. What's it called? Yeah, uh so he worked on it. I think he was done within like a week.
Damn.
And yeah, I think maybe like a week, or because I think it took him a week to do like the initial pencils and
Mhm.
inks, and then like a couple days, like maybe like a day or two, just to do the colors. Um, and then like I made like a mock logo for it,
Right.
and he was like, "Hey, mind if I change the logo?" Because I made it on like some cheap logo generator thing, and then he made like he's like, "Hey, what color do you want it to be?" I'm like, "Yeah, just make it like red." He's like, "How do you want it to feel?" And I said, like I don't know, like some Django horror grindhouse martial arts movie. And
Mhm.
then he was like, "All right," and and then like did the logo and stuff. And he doesn't remember what font he used. He just was like, I wasn't thinking anything of it. And I'm like, dude, I was like you made this like because yeah. He's like, it's iconic. I love it. He was like, I just, I'm just another day, brother. Ain't that deep. So uh,
I
I
like how you.
wanted.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I like how you
You're
like
good.
you're referencing him, and he's like in monotone. He's like, "Yeah, what type of color you want?"
Like that's him. He's like really just like a calm, like soft spoken dude. Um, and just kind of like I think he was like tired when I was talking to him, and he
Mhm.
was like, I was like, well, what do you want to be? And like that's how most of our conversations usually like go. You just like, I'm like, yo man, like you gotta like make it like violent and shit. Like I want to
Right.
see blood. He's like, children gonna read this, bro. He's like, yo man, you can't like have blood and shit. Like they're gonna ban you from library. It's already a tough subject.
Right.
And I'm like, brother, I said I want some damn blood. You're gonna draw some. But then I think he was right. He like made. I think he made this thing like he made the violence off screen.
Mhm.
Just so the intent was there. So he was right on that point. But some points where I'm like, you are drawing.
Like Harriet got to stab somebody.
Exactly. It's like the black children need to see this specific thing. But yeah, like we we did the cover, and I loved it. I actually no, I think the first part when he did like the logo, it was blue.
Right.
I was like, I was like, Negro, I wanted it red. And he was like, oh yeah, I got it. And then he like did it in like 2 seconds.
Right.
And he's like, all right, what do you think? And I was like, dude, this is great. This is dope. This is freaking epic. I was like, you should do the first issue. Like you should do
Oh,
like most of the comics. And he's like, I'll think about it. I was like, Courtland, I'm gonna slap you. You'll think about it. He was just joking around. He was joking around. But yeah, man, like I think I still think like I love every other cover that's been done, but I think his is like one of my favorites still.
right.
Um Not just maybe it's also because it's like it's the first like one,
Mhm.
and it's the entry point to me making this. But I was like, yo, man, like that cover goes hard. That cover is like iconic. I love it. But yeah, man, like so we've just been rocking and rolling since 2016, and we did the
Yeah.
Kickstarter, and he drew the first issue,
Yeah.
and like a lot of stuff happened. A lot like our lives have changed a lot. Like he got married and had a kid and got a house during the making of the first issue.
Wow.
Yeah, like he just was. He's like, yeah, I can't do the second issue. You gotta get someone else. I'll be back for issue 3. I'm like, wow, what's going on, man? It's like I'm moving to a new house, and my wife is giving birth.
Hmm.
I was like, I said this jokingly. I'm like, is she giving birth? I was like, Negro, is she giving birth now? It's like her water broke. I was like, oh. I was like,
Oh man.
I was like, Negro, why didn't you say that shit? So yeah, Joey Vasquez came on and then took over issue 2.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, even though Courtland was still involved with issue 2, but I am not going to say that second cover was still fire too. It
Oh
was
yeah,
almost,
yeah. It's the
yeah.
second cover. Yeah.
The second cover was this one.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
You
Oh
know?
yes. That, that- that was a good time. He did that really fast. Joey Vasquez, he did that cover in 2 days.
Oh man.
Did it in 2 days. He did the pencils and inks. He did like a warm up sketch of Harriet, how he was going to draw her, and then he drew that cover.
Hmm.
And then I was like, I didn't get the money yet from the Kickstarter, so I was like, brother, chill, like like the check hasn't cleared yet, chill, like take it easy. And
Yeah.
then he's like, I'm just bored because, you know,
Mhm.
I think he did it like New Year's Eve. He was like, yo, what do you think? And I was like, yo, this is amazing. Um, I get the money from the Kickstarter, I think the week after because it's a holiday, so I'll pay you that. He's like, all right. And then I got another email from him like on New Year's Day. He was like, Happy New Year. And he was like done with it. But like fully, I was like, yo. Uh he's another great artist. And I loved working with him as well because he is so fast and so crazy
Crazy.
talented, uh and extremely professional. And like I think uh he hadn't drawn black hair, like black female hair
Mm.
before, because this is when he was like, now he works for Marvel full time,
Right.
and now he's doing a whole bunch of stuff. But like he was like, hey, can you like send me pictures of like references, because I know
Yeah.
this is gonna sound weird. I'm like, dude, no, like you're an artist, like this is research. So like I think I sort of like a picture of like a friend of mine who I base one of the characters off of.
Okay.
She has like big thick curly hair. So I was like, yeah, kind of like have a fan, because there's a chase scene in issue 2 where they're
Hmm.
like running and they're on a horse and their hair is flowing. So I need to like, because he's very like meticulous and detailed with his work. So he
Hmm.
said, hey, I gotta just see how that specific hair looks like with speed, you know. So I think I went over a friend's house and recorded a video and like turned the fan on high and just was like, yo, I gotta do something. And just like
Oh,
had the fan blow in her face and recorded it and sent it to him. I was like, yeah, this is what it looks like. And he was like, all right, cool, awesome. And then he, got to work on that. And
mm.
then he called me and then he's like, yeah, there's a part where her hair gets wet. Um, and then my friend was hilarious. He was like, "Hell no."
Disclaimer, you don't wet a black woman's hair.
Yeah, he's like, tell him to use his damn imagination. That shit was funny as hell. I was like, hey man, I don't think it's gonna happen tonight. I think you gotta figure this out. He's like, all right. He's like, all right, all right. And then I actually, my friend came through because she was like, it's wash day, so just hang out for like a minute. So I was like, all right. He's like, but you're gonna get the shampooed and conditioned version though. And I was like, all right. And she was like, if I see any of these motherfucking photos, David, on the internet, I will kill you. Like, it was so funny.
Like, damn, I'm just trying to make a comic book. You ain't gotta threaten me.
It's like, yeah, girl, like it ain't that deep. She's like, it is that deep. It's my damn hair. I was like, girl, I'm not even famous like that. Like, chill.
Oh, God.
Yeah, man. Good
So,
times.
what compelled you to create almost like a commercial for the comic book, like for YouTube?
I don't know, man. I was just chilling. Like, I was on the phone with my friend Lex Kimbrough, amazing Black filmmaker from North Carolina. He's the CEO of Brave Boy Media, where they produce and make shorts and commercials for big companies. Everyone hire him. He's a dope shooter. He's a dope writer, creative, awesome Black man. But yeah, so him and I were just on the phone, just catching up. And I was like, chapter 5 was just finishing up. And I was like, yo, I gotta like find a way to like get an announcement going for it. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I got to do something for like issue 5 coming out. And he was just like, yo, you should like maybe do like a Kickstarter commercial thingy, just to get people like excited about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. So I like wrote this thing, and he was like, hey, I can come down from North Carolina and be the cinematographer on it and help you out. And yeah, like it was a good idea at the time, but it was stressful. Like I was stressed out because again, this is like still during COVID.
Right.
This is all November 2020. So there's like no vaccine still. There's still like everything was kind of open, but I was still like afraid of like catching this bullshit or something bad happening. And so I think I hired my friend Tiara Baxter, who was like my former coworker at this restaurant I used to work at. And I just like she just looks like Harriet in my comics, because I've always based Harriet Tubman off of Eartha Kitt a lot. What's it called? And she just looks like modern day Eartha Kitt. And it's funny because Tiara is like comes from like a mad like hood ass family. So like she was great. She's like, hey yo, everybody, what's up? Like, I'm here to play Harry. Like, it was great because like when you see her, she just has like this great gravitas, a great look. And then like it's like, all right, cut. All right, everybody, all right. Like, I love Tiara. Like, she was great. But yeah, so I wrote the script. I think we ended up making something different in the end because we had originally, like, Otto, you've seen the commercial. It was supposed to be Harriet comes in to this barn because she hears crying, and it's a child. It's like a white child crying, and Harriet sees this little white baby, and she's like, "Hey, like, like I'm lost. I can't find my mom." And Harriet's like, "It's okay. Like I'll take care of you. I'll bring you home." And then the little girl's like, "Oh my God, there's a monster behind you!" And Harriet like turns around, gets her katana, and it was a trick. The girl was actually like a vampire. Like she turns around, little kid turns into, like, we had a great makeup artist who's gonna turn this little kid into like a demon, basically, and like attack Harriet, and then Harriet was gonna decapitate the demon child. and it was like Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer Chapter 5 out right now. You know,
Yeah.
great on paper, horrendous to pitch because a lot of like white child actor parents were like, I am not going to allow my sweet innocent child to have her head decapitated. And I was like, girl, chill. It's just a damn commercial. It ain't that deep. He's like, no, we're not doing it, David. So I was like, all right. And I was like, I got it. And then I was like, okay, I'll make it that the vampire can transform into like an adult, and I'll call one of my friends to like play the adult vampire.
Right.
Is that better? And they were like, fine. But then like they quit last minute. They're like, we can't be a part of this, David, because we looked you up and we don't approve of your politics. Okay, I can't have my daughter be a part of something that is all about Black Lives Matter. I was like, where the hell did this come from?
I hope this wasn't a voicemail.
Oh no, this person called me like on the phone and was just like talk. I wish it was a voicemail so I could like talk some shit and I'd be like, yo, James, want to hear some shit? And I was just like pull it out.
I am appalled.
Like, I'm appalled at the message you are trying to fill. What are you trying to pull here, David? What are you trying to pull? And I was just laughing. He says, we're out. We quit. I'm like, that's fine. I called my friend. I was like, yo, we're gonna change the commercial up a bit. But yeah, like, but yeah, I was just kind of overwhelmed. I think when you're doing all of that stuff and you're so kind of stressed out and tired, you don't care when people like yell at you or bullshit you. You're just like, yo, I gotta get this done. Either you're rocking with me or you're not. You're not cool. Let me move on and not waste time. And because I'm like, because it's a very small crew, and we couldn't because we couldn't like get a whole bunch of people to do stuff because again, COVID. So I had to buy all the clothes, had to get all the like clothing, and my cousin was helping me out. Thank God he got like a great guy to help out, and the guy, a friend of mine, Tony, he let me use his barn to like film this thing. And then he's like, hey, like if you need help, I can bring people to help out who have worked on like TV crew and stuff. And I was like, I don't have enough money to pay. And he's like, hey, like, dude, it's like 4 at 5 hours. Like it's not that big of a deal. We're all friends with you and we can be like rock with you and stuff. And I was like, okay, cried like a bitch. Because it was like stressful, like it was a lot. So yeah, everyone was just game to help me out and to make it look cool. And I was overwhelmed, but everyone was just there to support and make it a thing. And we shot it in like 8 hours. Like that whole commercial is shot in 8 hours. And this is how talented and amazing Lex Kimbrough is. I was so stressed out. I brought all the wardrobe, all the props. I forgot the shot list. And I'm the director. So he was like, hey man, you got the shot list? And I was like, oh no. And he was like, too late. He's like, we'll figure this out. And but yeah, so, and also like, I wear glasses and I had a face mask on. So like I was talking, and at this point, I'm not used to talking a lot with the face mask on and having my glasses on. So like this shit was all fogged up. So I had to like text my sister. I'm like, yo, where are you? I need you to go back to my room, back to my place. I need you to get my contacts if you can, and just bring me my eye contact because I literally couldn't see anything. And Lex had to literally be my eyes and ears at one point. I was like, Lex, how's it look? He's like, it looks like this. All right, move it to the right, move it to the left. All right, rolling, action. And that was it. But my sister Cage gave my contacts, and everyone was great. I think and what made me happy was that, I was stressed out and going through it, but everyone else was like happy, and everyone else was having fun. Like our makeup person was having fun. Everyone else who was doing like the smoke screen and special effects, Tiara, that was her first time acting.
Yeah.
She was having a good time.
Good.
So I'm like, okay, this sets the precedent for directing, is that if you're a good director, and yes, right, I'm gonna hype myself up a little bit, but I think good directors are quietly like kind of suffering a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone else is kind of like having fun, you know, um, or the director is like kind of sort of uncomfortable, when the director is kind of like, chill and happy, and everyone's miserable, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of I learned a lot in that time. But yeah, man, we did that, and that actually led to this thing with Prentice, actually.
Segued right into it. Feel free.
Yes, yes, Prentice Penny. Uh, so I think I shot it, and we released it, and a bunch of people saw it, loved it. It was like, oh, this is great, this is awesome.
Was it
Everyone's like, yeah,
Sebastian Jones that actually passed it to him, or
yeah,
showed
yeah,
it?
yeah. Sebastian Jones, Sebastian A. Jones of Stranger Comics, who is
Mm-hmm.
an amazing, dope, awesome friend who's always had my back and has always given me like great advice. Like he inspired me to start my own publishing company, because I had been going through it with other publishers. So I'm like, forget it, I'm just gonna start my own thing. And he really like pushed me to do that. But he had known Prentice, because Prentice is currently developing his comic book
Yeah.
into a TV series at HBO. And they like had a great time working together. So Prentice basically wanted to have a department in his production company to develop genre and like in specifically like indie comic books
Mm.
by creators of color. And so he wanted to have that department, and Sebastian would, I think, they would partner up on that. And I think Sebastian brought him some of my comics, and I think a few other comic books, and he liked Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer a lot,
Mm.
and a few others. So like Sebastian had called me one day. He's like, "Hey man, look, I saw the commercial. Looks great." I was like, "Thanks." He's like, "Are you doing anything with it?" And I was like, "It's on YouTube, brother. Like that's what I'm doing." He's like, "No, no, no. Are you doing anything with your comic book to turn it into a TV show? Because like it looks really legit." And I was like, "Thanks, man. That was a shoestring budget. That was literally a shoestring budget." um, so he's like, "Hey, like I'm talking to Prentice right now, and we have some ideas, and we think we'd make a great TV show. He wants to meet you and talk to you. What do you
Mm.
think? Are you okay with meeting him?" And I really wanted to scream, "Nigga, of course I want to meet him. I love Prentice Petty, and I love Insecure," but I had to like kind of, actually no, that's a lie. Um, well, like most people are very like business minded and very eloquent. Nah, like I am like mad niggerish for life. It was terrible. Like I could not hold that back. I just was like, of course I want to meet him, nigga. Shit, come on, let's do it.
Oh my
Um,
God.
so and like I wish I held it back when I met Prentice, but like I'm a big fan of Insecure. It's one of my, like that in Atlanta are like
Right.
my favorite shows, and like as far as like black people, black things on screen, black
Yeah.
creators doing stuff, those are like my two, like I fuck with those shows. So we had a meeting, and he was just like, "Hey man, good to meet you. I'm a big fan of you." And I was like, "Think I'm a fan of you." And then
You're
like a
like, yeah,
straight up
right.
yeah. Like it was a straight up reaction too. Like, and he was cool, like he laughed, and it was great. And he was like, "Hey, like I think this would make a good show. Like, what do you think?" And I was like, "Yes, like I agree." Like I agree, it would make a great show. And he was like, "All right, cool." And that was that basically. And um yeah, and he is, as a person that I'm collaborating with, and someone that I'm also like a fan of. Because at first I was like a little nervous,
Right.
because I'm a big fan of everything he does. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of how he tells stories. And then
Mm-hmm.
it was emotional, because he was bringing that way of storytelling into my comic book, you know, because he's very much like, "Hey, we gotta, before we make the jokes, we have to find out where the emotion is in this story, you
Right.
know.
Like
And
he's
we have
insecure and uncorked, like about the first
exactly,
one of the first black master sommeliers. Like, bruh,
exactly, like having us cry, you know.
I'm crying over a man that's drinking wine, sipping wine.
Exactly, you know. And he's really big on getting underneath the emotion of it. Like Insecrete's funny as hell, but
Yeah.
he's really about like getting underneath the emotion of it. Same with Uncorked. He's like, yo, we're gonna have moments of like it being witty and funny, but we gotta get to the emotional core of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I haven't told him this. I have to tell him this. I've known him for like a little bit. I've known him like a year now.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to tell him this. I gotta be like, yo, one day I was getting my hair cut at the barbershop and I walked in and the barbershop had Insecure on. And it was like, I think the season finale of season 2. And a bunch of like grown black men were cutting hair at, and like they all stopped to like look at the screen. It was like this perfect shot of a bunch of like black men just looking at looking at the TV screen. Exactly, just like that. Just like that. It was
With barber clippers.
Yeah, but barber clippers. Even people who are getting their hair done are just like like people like turned around in the barber chair just to see what was happening between Issa and Lawrence.
Lawrence.
You know, like it was a whole thing. So I'm like, oh, that's what he means, because like, you know, where everyone's like, and it was like black men of all ages, and they were just like really emotionally invested
Right.
in this show. So he was just about that, like starting with like, yeah, why is this like this in your comic? You know, like why is this here? I think we should go here. And I'm just like, yes, you know, because I can't just be like, you know, man, I just wanted to see some vampires, some bullshit. I can't like that's the truth.
Right.
But he was like, okay, well, what if it's this instead?
Mm-hmm.
And because that'll kind of create some stakes. And he's just really good at picking and choosing like people and
Mm-hmm.
like teams of people. I can't say anything about this, but like he's good at like, you
Got it right.
know, it'll be announced like later on the year, but
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, he's looking at good people
Good.
for the show, and people that I will say they are black black people and black women as well,
Mm-hmm.
who are well suited for it, not just like some token bullshit where it's like, all right, it's Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, but who's a black woman and who's hot right
Right.
now? You know, it's like, okay, who understands this genre way of storytelling and who can elevate it the most, and who can make it exciting, who can make it emotional, and who can make it like fun. You know, like we have to get that person.
Right.
So he's so yeah, like I'm just excited and happy to be like working with him and joining in on that work. And it's made me um a better storyteller. Um
Right.
and also like I like how, because you know, I've had bosses where if I disagreed, or partners where if there's a disagreement or something that like if I pitch an idea and it might not make sense or resonate, you know,
Mm-hmm.
most people will be like, yo, I'm a curse you out and tell you off. He's like, hey, that's good, but I think that doesn't resonate as much. And he will explain in a nice
Right.
way.
Because most
And it's
people will
not
tell you they don't like your idea, but they don't tell you how it could differ if you change it and make it look it in this way to make you kind of like have a compromise.
exactly. Like he's just like he really like he sent me this email. We were talking about like ideas on something, and oh, he's always right, and not like in a cocky, arrogant way. It's all I was like, wow, he really thought about all of this before he hit send on this email.
Mm.
Like it is well thought out. It is well So it's funny. It's even well written because he's a good writer.
Yeah.
It made me step up my damn text and an email game. And he's like, and then he's like, all right, and this is what's going to help and resonate emotionally. And it can be this, it can be that, but I think this is the way to go. I think this is how we're going to win if we go in this direction, And again, it was zero ego. It was zero weird dominance bullshit. It was like, I'm here to help. It was coming from that place and that energy. And like he wrote a lot of stuff. He probably thought, oh no, did I scare David away? But I was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy I'm working with this awesome, dope person. Like I was just like, oh. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, you're right. And I'm so happy to be working with you, crowd of bitch. But yeah, man, like I'm really grateful to be to be here, to be in this position, and to have it getting made with him specifically.
Yeah. Now, would you say like issue 5 was pretty much the turning point in how the storyline was going to end up? Or would you say, because you've been creating the series since 2016, that maybe there was a point in time beforehand where you knew, you know what? Yeah, I got something here.
Yeah, like I think like I always knew I wanted it to be cool and like always have the stakes be high. But yeah, I think, well, yeah, it was because spoil it. Well, not I won't spoil it, but I'm like, yo, people die. Yeah, at the end of issue 5, like there is a death of a main character in issue 5, and there is a lot of consequence, because before, like, I was having fun with it and it's lots of action and fun, and then those are the first 3 issues, and then issue 4 is kind of the formation of the consequence of pushing the story forward and the plot of the overall story forming. And again, issue 5 is more consequence, and issue 6 is even more consequence and even more like crazy stuff. And people like, I'm obsessed with this quote from like this screenwriter Alvin Sargent, who like he wrote Spider-Man 2, so of course he's dope. He just was like, he says, find out what your main character needs and never give it to them. Like, never give it to them. If you can make your main character's life worse, like, do it. Always go in that direction. There's always more to do when you make their life like worse and shit. I was like, damn, of course this motherfucker wrote Spider-Man 2. Shit,
like,
Peter Parker's life sucks.
Yeah,
I'm like, wait a minute.
Like, I see it now. Trauma
Exactly.
everywhere. I see it now.
Like, bro, kid. Oh yeah. Woo. So yeah, like just putting that in the comic, but I'm like, yo, I still gotta like make it fun and entertaining,
Right?
And keep people like reading it. So yeah, man, like a lot of stuff happens and that, and then issue 6 is kind of like a little bit of a fun side quest journey thing, because like someone died and we have to figure some stuff out still, and then it seems like things might be okay in the face of this death, and then it's like, nope, something worse happens at the end of issue 6, and it's like it's a cliffhanger too. And just kind of like we're gonna keep. I'm sure like Harriet went through a lot leading slaves to freedom, and like thankfully no slaves died under her watch, but I'm like, I know there was lots of like fear and stress and certain losses.
Definitely
so
some
like,
close calls.
Oh hell yeah. So my whole thing is, I'm like, gonna just have to make her life worse as this goes on, and there's lots of real stuff to look at. There's lots of stuff that I'm like, okay, let me do that exact thing, but with demons now. Let me do that exact thing, but it's a werewolf now. Or like, and then like, oh, what if like her and Nat Turner met? What if her and Abraham
Right.
Lincoln met.
Met.
You know, like, and I don't think her and Abraham Lincoln would get along. Like I don't think they would like each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because everyone, everyone's like, yes, Abraham Lincoln, the greatest. And I'm like, some of y'all don't read history books. Like
Right.
Abraham Lincoln, low key kind of sexist, low key, just a little bit racist,
Mm-hmm.
just a bit racist. So like, what's he gonna have to say to like a dark skinned black woman, who's stronger than him?
Right.
Like how is he going to react like to that? And also, it's like, oh, is he a vampire hunter in this?
Right. Wait.
Or
Oh, you're diving into that as well, like basically you throwing in the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter into the storyline.
maybe, well, like I don't know if I can like it might not be that version of
Okay, gotcha.
Abraham Lincoln. Actually, no. No. I take it back. Yeah, it's not going. It's definitely not going to be that version
Mm-hmm.
because in that book, I haven't read it or watched the movie, but like in the log line, it's Abraham Lincoln when he's younger, when he's
Yeah.
much
Yes.
younger. Like that's when that whole entire story takes place. Like
Mm-hmm.
my thing takes place as he's like a president,
Mm-hmm.
and like we're in the midst of like the Civil War happening and slavery being abolished and stuff.
Right.
And yeah, like yeah, him and Harriet, they're gonna meet, but they are not gonna like each other. But they're gonna have to like, but they have to team up for the greater good. That type of thing. Whether they hate it or not, whether they love it or not.
Mm.
Paramount
So
Pictures presents. I don't
that's probably how it's going to end up. But and
know.
sticking with your theme, and no, you've been sticking with supernatural. You now have this series that you're developing, of course, again as a comic, Nightmare in Newark. Could you tell me about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Right. Nightmare in Newark is about this girl who's coming out to her family, and she has lots of anxiety about coming out because when you're black, it's totally different when you're coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm straight, but like I have interviewed and talked to different queer black people, and they were like, "Yo, it's a hard walk. It's a tough journey."
He says a
Um,
hard walk.
yeah, man. So they were like, I was like, "Damn, like that's scary as hell." I was like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
So like them so she's preparing to come out to her family, and in the middle of her coming out, an alien invasion erupts in her town. So she has to, like a Cloverfield War of the Worlds level alien invasion erupts in her town. So she has to survive this alien invasion and come out to her family. And hilarity and drama ensue. It's called Nightmare in Newark. And I kind of just came up with this idea. Um, I think I was approached by another publisher who was
Mm-hmm.
a fan of Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, and they wanted me and Courtland to do like another like they were going to do a horror anthology book series,
Yeah.
and they wanted like a 10-page short. They were going to pay me and Courtland to you know make something. So I was like, all right, and I was just brainstorming ideas, and what's it called? I had just lived in, excuse me, in an apartment that had gotten that had a bed bug outbreak,
Oh.
and everyone was like kind of forced out because these bed bugs like were all over the apartment. um, so like so I had to like move back and live with my family in New Jersey, and
Mm-hmm.
was like homeless. And I went to a party and I was talking to a friend of mine about it. And I was like, yeah, I'm just really stressed out. Like, I had to move back to Jersey, gave up my apartment, and like, I gotta come up with the story, and I'm trying to figure out the story. And then my friend was like, you should just make a story about that. Like, just like, what if like
Mm-hmm.
something invaded your apartment building? And I was like, like it started with that background of like like because the bed bugs were so scary looking.
Yeah.
They're like like the size of a quarter. But imagine
Damn.
that all over, like all over your ceiling in a city. Like that made me nuts. So like I am itching, just look at me, I'm itching just thinking about it. So yeah, shout out to Alexis for being like, just make a story about what you know, Negro. um so yeah, I started writing that. I was like, okay, what if like, but like I gotta get like an emotional hook. So originally it was going to be about a black man who was dating a white woman, and he was going to tell his parents that he's like engaged to marry a white woman. But I was like, nah, the stakes don't really feel that high, and like,
Yeah.
or at least I like to think black people were kind of like far past like interracial dating and being like, oh my god, like it was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Guess who's coming to dinner and shit.
Yeah, guess who's coming to dinner but aliens, and that's what I was kind of going for. I was like, man, I don't know, like, and then I had a supporting character who was playing his cousin or his little sister in it, and I had so much fun writing her, and she was gay, she's a lesbian,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, she's so much fun to like write. I was like, wait, I should switch it. I should make it about, because he says it when I was kind of workshopping the dialogue. He had said like, yo, how did you deal with it? Because you're like, it's like, because you gay, you had to like come out to like our parents. And I'm like, wait, like the stakes are infinitely higher if we just swap these two.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna switch it to make it about this girl coming out to her family, and like see what that does. Like, even without, I think when it comes to stories that are fantastic or have blockbuster or anything, going that simple grounded route, even without that, is already like scary. Like that's already a horror film in and of itself. And then we heighten that emotion with an alien invasion and explosions, and like we can have some fun. Like even with Get Out, it's like, I'm gonna go meet my girl's parents, and she hasn't told them that I'm black, and in a white suburb away from the city, and it's nothing but white people at this thing, and everyone's kind of off. Like this is already scary as hell, because it's already scary. So yeah, man, like I love this story. I did lots of research for it, and it was challenging and scary because it was my first time writing a comic that isn't Harriet Tubman.
Right.
And also Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, I've been working on it since 2016. No, actually, no, since 2014, 2015.
Wow.
And I'm like when I write it now, I'm like, yeah, I know these characters forwards and backwards. I can literally write this in my sleep. Shit, I have written this in my sleep. And Nightmare in Newark, it's like, okay, because Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer is like the South. Nightmare in Newark is present day in Newark. So it was like transitioning from like a different language of being like country to like tri-state area.
Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey, like dirty Jersey. So I was really intimidated by it. And then also I'm like, okay, I don't have that emotional experience of like I'm not gay. I don't know what that experience is like to come out to my family. Like I don't know what that anxiety is. Like before I get to the aliens and all that stuff, I gotta get emotionally underneath what this person is going through, what that experience is. So just got together with different queer black folk and interviewed them, just like, yeah, what was it like coming out to your family? Like jumped right into it. And you heard, I think I made it so like it was an anonymous thing, because a lot of people were like, yo, I don't want my name like in this. I'll do this, but don't put my name in the book, because a lot of this shit isn't resolved. And I was like, oh, okay, got it. So yeah, just hearing people's like it's like, yeah, some of it was like, oh, it went great, or they always knew, or some of it was, yeah, I haven't spoken to my family since 2013. And just kind of like, it's like, hey, like you have to go in with the fact that like you know, she might not speak to her family again and deal with that nuance. So I was like, shit, that's scary as hell, and but yeah, like, and we have an amazing artist working on it, like Brett Parson, who does Tank Girl. Um,
Wow.
yeah, he did a cover for Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. And I think I was looking at it, so I've always loved his stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, I should get him to do Nightmare in Newark. So I was like, yo, dude, like, do you want to do my next book, Nightmare in Newark? It's not like Harriet where it's ongoing. Like Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer planned to do 200 issues. Um, Nightmare in Newark, it's like a contained 7-issue story. And I
Okay.
was like, yo, do you want to like do 7 issues of this? And he was like, sure. And like, I have to thank the pandemic
Right.
for this, though. Like, not to be insensitive, because a lot of terrible things have happened in this pandemic, but a lot of jobs that he had to do, he either
Mm-hmm.
got it all done during the pandemic
Mm.
and had some free time, or some books got canceled or
Yeah,
rescheduled. So he's like, yeah, I can commit to this issue now. And I was like, cool, dope, awesome.
that's perfect
So
timing.
yeah, man, like it happened like perfectly. So I approached him about doing the cover, and he killed it in the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had gone through different artists, because I was trying to do this. I think I was going to do it with Courtland, but Courtland does a lot of Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, so I wanted this to feel and look different
Right.
than Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. So I was like, hey man, no disrespect, can you just do Harriet? He's like, hey, no problem. He's like, it's cool. And
Right.
then I think one other artist, I think it just I liked them, but I was like, I need, like, there needs to be like a connective, like perfect specific thing for this,
Yeah.
where it still needs to be like fun and inviting, but still like capture that horror grit and like
Mhm.
violence and stuff. And Brett's work was perfect for it. And I just was like, I'm like, dude, like, do you want to do this? Like, actually, I was like, can you do this? Like, I want you on this.
Mm.
And we like talked a little bit about the story. I sent him the deck, and he's like, dude, I'm in. And I was like, cool. So yeah, he's doing the whole story, you know.
Wow. Okay.
Um, yeah, man. And yeah, I think we're gonna drop the Kickstarter for that. We were supposed to drop it in November, but I got very busy
Okay.
because stuff with Prentice, and was on a book tour, and then Omarion variant. So like got a little busy. So I was like, all right, this ain't dropping in Thanksgiving now. It's gonna drop in February,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna drop like first or second week of March.
Okay.
Um, because like Lex is directing the Kickstarter video for this.
Ah.
And we're doing the same thing we did with the Harriet thing. We're hiring actors who look like the characters from the comic, and they're gonna shoot a little thing and drop it in March. And yeah, then hope for the best.
That's dope. That's dope. Now I know you like to keep your ears to the street. So
Mhm.
as far as of course we're in Black History Month, and of course those of us that love to celebrate our Black comic book characters, some of the most iconic, more popular Black comic book characters, notably T'Challa and Cyborg, whether in live action, of course, have gone through the most scrutiny in the past couple years. You have Ray Fisher going through whatever the hell he's going through with Cyborg and WB
Mhm.
and everybody else there, and then T'Challa, good lord, man, from
Yeah,
going
man.
from a complete ascension to the passing of Chadwick
Mm.
Boswick to now going into this whole thing where the pandemic is now hit. Letitia Wright ain't acting right. We don't know who there. Everybody's trying to have this recast T'Challa discussion. These are two of
Yeah,
the most
man.
iconic Black characters in comics. And now it looks like we'll never see him again on the big screen. I mean, I know they're still going to do Wakanda forever, but it's like, It feels like a
Yeah.
conspiracy. conspiracy.
Yes. Yeah. Dude, I don't know. Like I am a little bit of a conspiracy theorist because I was like, well, when I heard Chadwick Boseman died, and like on that day, I just was meditating on him. I was like, man, I was like, I'm so grateful we have this dude.
Right.
Like, what a dope actor. He's an amazing actor, and I'm excited for everything that he's doing. Like Black Panther 2 is gonna be fire. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like really like on, like he had always been one of my favorite like actors. When I heard he was being cast as Black Panther, I was like, yo, perfect casting.
Mm-hmm.
Like they casted that perfectly. There's no, because I always had trouble seeing, like I had trouble casting Black Panther in my head. I don't know why I always had trouble casting.
Yeah.
I always had trouble seeing. I was like, maybe Wesley, maybe Denzel, but like them in the 90s or 80s, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
Not
I
now.
could have, like I can't see it now. And then I was like, people were like, oh, maybe Morris Chestnut. I was like, no.
More.
And like, yeah, someone was like Morris Chestnut. Someone was like, oh, Jaimin Hunsu, and I was like, no, there needs to be like,
Right.
it needs to be like a gravitas, like king, like really feel like a king, and not just like, oh, like the arrogance of a king, but like the
Mm-hmm.
solitude and loneliness of a king. And Chadwick Boseman just like I just I always get mad when I see the recast T'Challa thing, because like, which I get why people want, because they want to see that character go, but like
Right.
to move forward. But I'm like, dude, he was too good at it.
Mm-hmm.
He was too good. He was like too perfect. Like, um, if they, and I think it would be too jarring if they recast him for Black Panther
Right.
2. I'm like, nah, man. Also, I would feel terrible for that actor.
I would feel
You know?
horrible for that actor. Whoever they would
Yeah.
get, good God.
Yeah.
As soon as they announce the casting, I can imagine how
Oh
Twitter,
yeah.
Instagram, Facebook would, like,
Oh
motherfuckers
yeah.
will be going off.
And also, he has to go in and do a job, knowing
Yeah. I
that
have to
he's
meet that
like,
expectation.
yeah, and it's not really his anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I've heard rumors and rumblings, and this is on Twitter. We can talk about this. Is
Yeah.
all over the news already. Like, there's a rumor that, in maybe Black Panther 3, or in another Avengers movie, because this is all about multiverse saga stuff.
Yeah.
And
Variants.
there's a rumor about a T'Challa variant, and they could say like his Earth got destroyed, and he ended up here somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be like a full circle moment. And I'm like, all right, like that's a good way to like, I would be okay with that, but not like right this second.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
It, it
like
it still hurts.
yeah, yeah. Like I was like, yeah, man, just that whole day that was leading up to, it was like 11:30 at night. I remember it because I was with my mom. We were just talking,
Mm-hmm.
and I like looked on like Facebook and said R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman, and
Yeah.
I was like,
Same.
man, I was like, y'all are on some bullshit. Because like, sometimes you see like R.I.P.
Yeah.
someone, you're like, man, y'all on some bullshit. And then like I saw out you, Jane, I will never forget. I looked at it and I said, God, no, Jesus, no.
Mm-hmm.
I like, I there are two instances where there are three instances
Mm-hmm.
where I literally felt my heart break.
Mm-hmm.
It was when my father passed away.
Mm-hmm.
It was when Michael Jackson died.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when Chadwick Boseman died.
Mm.
Those are three instances. I don't like feeling those things.
Right.
And like I just I just, and Michael Jackson, I was very upset. But Chadwick Boseman was the first time I like openly wept and cried for days, and just profound sadness, and just thinking about like his fans and like what that does to little black boys who don't have that. Like I remember I said this jokingly, like I was jealous when like, I was like, man, these black kids that they got Spider-Verse and Black Panther in the same year. I'm jealous as hell. All I had was the Mummy and X-Men in the same year. Like growing up. He's like, that's it, Negro. You got Brendan Fraser and you have Halle Berry doing a bad accent. Like it's like deal with it. But yeah, man.
It's like these kids got it made. They are spoiled. But the thing is, he like it lifted everybody. We acted out in the theater. The motherfucking like them opening nights.
Oh yeah, dude, I showed up in like
out
African.
I was in a suit.
You like you were so extra. Just showed up in like.
You going to the club or the church?
Yeah, he's like, nah, man, I'm see Black Panther and shit. But yeah, it was funny as hell when we went to go see the movie, and I've just like had all my African, like, because my parents are from Ghana, so I had like had all my shit, all my like dashiki stuff. I had it all on, and I was like, yo, I dare a motherfucker to say what movie you seen today. I was like, listen, bitch, I ain't seeing no damn. I don't even remember what movie was out.
I don't know what movie was out. There was young cats rolling up in limos like they was going to prom.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, like people had like banana pudding, had like freaking takeout from a cookout and shit, and brought it out and just eating it. It was so funny.
Cats had congas in the line. They had drum circles before you went into the theater. Shit.
Exactly. Like shit was so beautifully extra. Like I loved it. Like I'm sorry, like nothing. I hope Wakanda Forever is dope. I hope it's amazing. It ain't gonna be the same. Like it's not. And that's like heartbreaking because like, and I think they know it too.
Yeah.
Because it's like this other artist who you should have on the show, Nicholas Draper Ivey. He draws
He draws Static.
Yeah, he draws Static. He's a good
and he
buddy
did
of mine.
Exogenesis for Noir Caesar.
Yeah. And he did issue 5 of Harriet. It was one of my favorite covers as well. And everyone loves that cover. I just remember he just was like, we were talking when Chadwick died, and he was like, where do we go from here? Like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like that was the guy. Like I think he was even gonna surpass like Denzel's stuff.
Yeah.
And
even he was on the verge of that.
Yeah, because like I love Denzel. Denzel's the baddest motherfucker in the world.
He gonna be another one when he leave here.
Oh yeah, like I'm gonna be like,
yeah, under the table,
like crying and like drinking juice. But yeah, man, Chadwick, I loved it because he was a leading man and a character actor. And I'm like, yo, the dude in 42, the dude in Black Panther, the dude in Get On Up, the dude in what's it called? Ma Rainey's Black. These are all different guys. Yeah.
He could biopic his ass off.
Exactly, and like they all felt different, and like I think some of that because he was like brand new and coming up, and for like my background is in acting, and I still audition when I can, and I was auditioning for a movie called Draft Day, and it was the role that Chadwick got. And I was auditioning for it, and I didn't really know who Chadwick Boseman was in my acting circles. And my one friend who was a coach for it, he was like, "Yeah, you ain't gonna get this part." I was like, "Why? What do you mean?" He's like, "There's an actor who I'm scared for my job, for my career, who I heard is auditioning for this. He's one of the bad motherfuckers in the New York acting scene.
He is scaring grown men.
Yeah, like scaring grown, like 40-year-old grown men who were on Broadway, or who were like scared of Chad. And I was like, and like my friend had been on Broadway and stuff. I was like, what? I was like, who is it? It's like, it was funny because like he said it all dramatic and intense. His name's Chadwick Boseman. And I was like, what is that? And like he's gonna play Jackie Robinson. And he's gonna blow the hell up. He just rapped it. And he just needs to like work because he's a guy that just needs to be working. And everyone, he's like, whenever I would go in for something, he would always book it. I just hate it. Like he's like, I only got jobs because he would turn certain plays down.
Right.
Like,
you in the hallway reading your lines, and he comes, you just walk out the door. It's like, God, you know what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I heard it's like, oh, let me just pack it up and leave. But he was like, wait, maybe I can like get, maybe I can get like an understudy job or something.
I can be your body double.
Exactly. like it would happen like that. And I think I screamed at one of my friends who knew him and had the same thing. They would go in and Chad would always get it. And he was like, he said, hey man, we should hang out and like grab a beer or something like that. And Chadwick was just like, all right, cool. And he gave Chadwick gave my friend his number. He's like, yeah, we should like, this is like 2008, 2009. He's like, yeah, we should hang out. And my friend never called him. And I was like, why? He was like, that's who I was, man. I used to be on some dumb competitive black actor shit because, you know, crabs in a barrel mentality. I really regret not. I think I texted him when 42 came out. He did text me back. He remembered who I was.
Ghosted Chadwick Boseman.
I was like, how in the hell you ghost Black? He's like, I didn't know he was gonna be Black Panther. I had no idea. I just knew he was a nigga taking my job. That's what I knew.
Oh my God.
So like, and I just, you know, I saw 42 and I was like, oh, this dude's solid. And then I heard he was playing James Brown, and I was like, I don't know how that's gonna work. And then he killed it, James Brown. But I do think someone was like, yo, we gotta make, these are two iconic Black superheroes. We gotta make bullshit hard. I don't know, because I do feel like I was like, I don't like how Chadwick left us like this. I don't like it. I don't dig it, because he was considered. He was on his way. I think he won this. And in Chinese film, they don't give this out to just anybody.
Yeah, let alone Black actors.
Yeah, they called him the movie star of tomorrow. He got this Chinese cinema film star of tomorrow award. They haven't given that shit since Will Smith in Independence Day. Before that, it was Tom Cruise in, I think, one of the Mission Impossible movies or Top Gun or some bullshit. They don't just be giving them shits out to people. And they gave it to him. You know, and like there's Robert Downey Jr. is out, there's Chris Evans is out, Jennifer Lawrence is out there, Bradley Cooper. It's like, and they're like, no, we him. He's who we like in America. And he's like, Jennifer, get the fuck out the motherfucking way. He's like, this is for Chadwick Boseman and shit. But yeah, man, like I wonder, like, why is that? Like, because you had a great actor. Both are perfectly cast in their respected roles. And then we got to see like the full, even in the bad Justice League movie, you know, homie still killed it in the bad version.
the Joss Whedon version.
Yeah, Joss Whedon version.
In the Zack Snyder one, like his role, it was like, okay, this motherfucker's like the whole movie.
Exactly. He's an emotional core. And genuinely is the emotional core in a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
we're
Zack Snyder is
usually
usually like, yeah, just debauchery, perversions, assault,
and
murder.
murder, cold, and calculation, like a lot of coldness in
Yeah.
Zack Snyder movies. But
Oh yeah.
he like, got us emotional in this movie. Got us
Right.
emotional. I'm like,
His
so like,
mama
I'm like,
died.
oh,
I was like, oh, what? Oh,
exactly. So I'm like, oh, that's why he was mad, because the media will try to flip it. Like that's why when a black creative, a black performer is screaming about something, I'm like, wait, we gotta listen to them, because we
mm-hmm.
don't know how they're gonna make them look. Because they're
Right.
trying to make it seem like, oh, Ray Fisher's a diva. Ray Fisher ain't shit.
Right.
He's a bad actor. And I'm like, nah, he's probably dope in the movie, and
Yeah.
this was going to change his life, you
Mm-hmm.
know, when the right version came out. But tragically, stuff had to get changed and
Yeah.
rearranged and stuff. And also,
Ultimately,
like,
when the real version came out, you come to see it at a lot of black people were omitted from the movie.
yeah,
All of them.
yeah. And I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, yo, if someone hired me, like, yo, David, you gotta direct. This would never happen. If they were like, yo, David, we don't like this third act of the Batman. We need you to direct it. Matt Reeves' dad died or some bullshit. We need you to direct it.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, like I was literally thinking about this last night. I was like, because I heard Joss Whedon was on some bullshit. He was like talking shit. He was like, "Hey, yo, fuck Zack Snyder," and shit, like loudly too, like loud. And then he's like, man, this motherfucker can't write a shit. This motherfucker can't direct. I watched the original version. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? My nigga, fuck Zack. He was like doing that,
Right.
and I'm like, yo, you're still in someone's house. Like, have some respect. Have some, like, you know, like, if it was me, I would have been like, yo, I gotta get together with Zach and like have a meeting and talk about, because it's gonna say directed by
Yeah.
Zack Snyder.
He
So it's
left in the
like, I'm
middle
like,
of it, so it's like, okay, three quarters of this movie was done by him. I'm just coming in here to finish it.
exactly. And they had to do reshoots too. I think Josh
Mhm.
Whedon was just hired to put some jokes in the movie and like add some like humor
Yep.
uh to it, and him and Zack Snyder like collaborated on which points of the movie would have humor. Like, yeah, what's hilarious about the Zack Snyder version, there are moments where it's Zack Snyder was directing it and it was a Josh Whedon line. They even cut that out because he was like,
Yep.
yo, fuck this motherfucker. Heard you talking shit. I'm even gonna cut your lines out of my
I'm
movie.
taking the jokes out of it.
Like, no jokes. Like, none. Uh yeah, man. Like, I'm like, yo, dude, have some, like, I think I I don't love Josh Whedon for all the bullshit that I've heard that's come out on
Pretty
about
much.
him, but he did have a hard job, because they were like, yo, uh this is a 4 hour movie.
Yeah.
We need you to take everything and make this bullshit 2 hours.
Shrink this shit 2 hours. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, so cut all the black scenes out first, right?
Yeah, he's like, just make sure no seasoning on the screen, no cocoa butter on the screen, no
Not even
shape
garlic
up,
powder.
no garlic powder, like no one. If they have a great shape up and a fade, get them out of here. They are well moisturized. Don't have them on the damn. No melanin on the screen. But
If they
like,
don't
okay, so
require lighting.
exactly. If their cinematography requires blue and purple lights, they cannot be on the screen.
I can't afford blue and purple lights.
It's like, He's like, sorry, Negroes, we're not in this movie anymore. But like, yeah, man, so part of me, I'm like, okay, I feel bad that he had to like take a 4 hour. It was gonna be 5 hours exactly that I directed some shit.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
motherfucker
He
had,
got his way. And
had
even
too,
like,
too
even
much slow
the
motion.
yeah, all that slow motion, that's Zach shit. But even like Cyborg's like his climax, him pulling the mother box. So in Joss's Justice League, you know, he gets ripped apart by ripped
like a damn toy.
like fucking Woody from Toy Story or some shit, Buzz Lightyear or something. But in Zack Snyder's shit, he just falls back with the mother box on his chest, like, oh, I got it. I'm like,
Makes him a hero.
he's a hero.
Josh is like, you know what? I never liked this Negro.
He's like, I'm gonna rip his arms and his legs off at the
It's
same
like,
time.
it's like, I don't need him to be in here for this shit. Hey yo, where's Ray Stunt Double at? Where's Ray Stunt Double at? Like,
Oh,
I don't need this to be in the motherfucking movie. And
at all.
yeah, like I would just be like, yo, man, like I would just be like, yo, Zach, love your work. I'm lying, but this is still your movie. I gotta.
How can I help?
And also like it. No matter how you feel about Zack Snyder or whatever or his films, like it's still, you're still talking to another director,
Mm-hmm.
and you should kind of I don't know I because I have a love hate thing with Zack Snyder where I'm like, man, that man knows how to cast a superhero. That man knows how to make something look cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
that man knows how to do some like hated Watchmen, but that fight choreography is
Nope.
dope. Like
Nope.
Man of Steel, the action sequences, Superman,
Fire.
dope, fire. Batman v Superman, that Batman warehouse scene, that is still the best Batman
That fight
action
ever.
fight scene I've ever seen captured on film. Sorry, Chris Nolan. Like that shit was dope. But like I was like, man, who are writing these movies?
Mm-hmm.
like who is writing this cold, dry shit? Because like
Mm-hmm.
no disrespect, I fell asleep like twice during Zack Snyder's Justice League, and
Couldn't help it. It was long.
yeah, four. I was like, yo, it's like 4 hours in February. I was like, yo, I was like, damn. I was like, I like fell asleep and then woke up because what's it called? Dark Side's demon
Yeah.
minion woke me up with his scare. Like, yo, don't watch that movie with the AirPods plugged in.
No.
Because I fell asleep and then was woken up by. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, well, was woken
And
up
if you
by a
watch the whole
demon.
thing, it's in acts. So like it'll go to that black screen and be like Act 3. I was like, really? Is this the play? Is there an intermission?
I'm like, I'm like, man, I'm just watching because like because Zach went through
Mm,
it.
yeah.
Feel bad that he's a human being. He went through some heartbreaking shit. So I'm gonna
Indeed.
support in that way. But I don't need to see this Snyderverse. Yeah.
No,
I was
no.
I was like,
We
yo,
don't need
like
to restore that.
like exactly. I don't need this shit. Like
Nope.
I watched motherfucking uh, Peacemaker, dope as shit.
Nope.
Love it. Funny as hell, entertaining. The
Mm-hmm.
Batman looks dope as hell. Like no man, we need Henry Cavill Superman, and I'm like, the Superman don't wear black, and also Zack Snyder does not get this nigga. He doesn't get
No.
it. He doesn't get it. Like like there is one thing that like Josh Whedon did get. He's a terrible person for what he
Mm-hmm.
did. He made some insanely shitty directed choices on
Absolutely.
this film, and also I blame him and Warner Brothers because he should have been like, "Yo, I can't turn this in by November,
Yeah.
so y'all gotta push this to
Next year,
July."
November.
Yeah, next year. Yeah, yeah. Like this has to come out November 2018 because the CGI ain't gonna look cute.
No.
Um,
Like
and
I
like
created a whole new Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf looked like
exactly.
a dude.
it's like he's like,
The one
yo,
he had looked like Brimstone Love from X-Men 2099. He had the
yeah,
fucking the horns. He looked like Darkness from Legend.
yeah, man. Like Josh Fields, I'm like, I ain't scared of this dude. At least the dude in Zack Snyder's one is scary, and also you feel bad for him too because he's going through. Like I was like, wow, I feel bad for this totally CGI character. Like, damn,
Yeah.
Zack Snyder brought his A game to
Mhm.
that. But yeah, like, but one thing I did like, I'm like, Joss Whedon got Superman a little bit better than
Yeah.
that. Like, he got like this is a character of hope and inspiration to
Mhm.
people. Like the way people see Captain America, but on crack.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
He can fly.
yes, the way Black people see like
Luther singing.
exactly like imagine Michael Jackson, Kobe Bryant, and Barack put into one person. That is how the world sees Superman.
Mhm.
So like I like that he brought like that
Mhm.
to the character. And like I remember watching, I was like, everything else I'm like, yeah, but I like how he handles Superman better than how I've seen him. Like he was smiling, he was charming, he was the most powerful member of the team. He's the answer. Superman is the answer
Mhm.
to the problems in the Justice League. Justice League can't function unless motherfucker Superman's there.
Mhm.
So I'm like, cool, dope. Movie was still trash, but
That was it.
but still cool and dope. But damn, man. And
Mhm.
yes, there is a conspiracy against uh because like yo, who else do we got? We got like a Miles
That's what
animated
I'm
thing.
saying. Our Luke Cage has been gone. Like T'Challa, Cyborg, Lord only knows. What we Night Thrasher? Like what we getting?
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm like,
Like
damn.
y'all better not fuck up Storm. Like when y'all get Storm, y'all better. She better be flames.
Yeah, man. Like I hope it's I hope it's a dark skinned actress.
Oh my
I
god,
hope it's
please!
an hope it's an actress who can do the accent. I
Exactly.
hope it's like
Preferably African.
yes, like it has to be someone because I was thinking about this. I was like, it has to be someone on like Chadwick's level
Mm-hmm.
because I was thinking of like, okay, when they cast it, they got to have the chemistry, and
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing that's another sad thing that we're robbed of
Yeah.
seeing that story with
Mm-hmm.
T'Challa and Storm.
Yeah.
And I think I wanted DeWanda
Oh, DeWanda
Miller.
Wise.
Yes, DeWanda Wise. From She's Gotta Have It. Like that was not just because like she's like a friend of mine, but like I just thought I was like, yo, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
like you could be Storm. And she auditioned for Captain Marvel and she got the part.
Mm-hmm.
She was gonna be like Monica Rambeau, and then she had to drop out because of She's Gotta Have It.
Mm.
But she didn't tell me, she didn't say anything, but she was like, Marvel might have me come back and do something else. And I was like,
Ah.
I was like, bitch, are you Storm? Like 2019. I was like, bitch, are you
Oh my
Storm?
god.
It's like, yo, David, chip, calm the fuck down. I was like, yeah, that'd be dope as hell. Uh, but yeah, man, like they gotta get Storm right. They gotta get live action Miles right.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, Whoever this variant T'Challa is, I don't want
Yep.
to see him till
I mean,
Black Panther 3 or 4.
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I know people were like, "Yo, recast it." I'm like, no. Like, eventually,
I
we're
need.
gonna
Yeah.
have to.
I need this pain to soak away a little bit before y'all reintroduce him to me.
Yeah, because like Chadwick had so many dope, awesome roles that he was preparing to
Mhm.
do. Like he was gonna do Black Panther, and then he was gonna play Yas. I think it's Yasuke,
Mhm.
the first black. They made an animated
The
series of it
samurai.
on
Yeah.
Netflix. Yeah, and it was gonna be like his next biopic, and I remember they were making jokes about it already when he was alive. He was like, yeah, I know, another biopic, but this story in the script is just dope. I have to be in it. He's like, I have to do it. And like someone made a meme or someone made like a GIF. It was like it's Chadwick Boseman when he gets offered a like another black male biography movie. It just shows like a car speeding like rush over. So I thought it was funny, but you know, and he was like, I think it was when he had lost because no one knew why he lost a bunch of weight,
Right.
and I think they thought he tried to say, or they tried to say, oh, it was just like a role or something like that. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's prepping to play like Yasuke, and then because he was going to film that and then get the weight up for Black Panther 2. But yeah, man, like what I can say is he did leave the roots of inspiration
Absolutely
in people to create and to because you know when he found, I think he hoped to live, but I think he knew these were his final days. So I think he just was, every role that he took, it had like a deep meaning. He wasn't just like, yeah, I need to collect a check.
No, you playing some dope characters. Like aside from the biopics, he was playing like 21 Bridges. Like that was a dope ass character. Like in the Ma Rainey story, like that may have been an actual person, but still, dope ass character.
Yeah, man. I think it's just the lesson of, you know, choose who you surround yourself with wisely, choose what you do with your life wisely. And I think and it kind of pushed me to start my own company because I hadn't been loud about the fact that I was gonna be with another publisher who wasn't treating me right. And I was still afraid. And then when he died, I just was like, I'm like, man, it's that fast. You know, brother's only 42 and he looked 32.
Yeah, he did.
So just every person that I associate with and work with, I want it to be like what he does, like something that was emotionally resonant and something that I'm going to love. You know, like if it's going to be some old bullshit that's going to make me miserable for a couple of months, I'm not doing it. Like I don't care how much money it is. Like I'll be all right. I'll move back in with my parents, or I'll go back to driving my 2010 Mazda. I need to be working and doing things with people that make me happy, you know, or I don't, or not necessarily like habit. When I wake up, I don't hate myself for what I'm about to do, you know, because
or
like
shit that actually feels like work.
Yes, yeah, man. Like I think before, man, I was working other jobs that I hated, you know, because I'm like, I just need the money, you know, and these were jobs where like I was easily replaceable.
Oh, absolutely.
Not valued and treated badly. Like I remember I was killing myself for this one job, and I caught a terrible virus. This is 2019 before COVID, and everyone at the job got sick. And I think 22 people had to call out of work. And I think I called out too, and they got mad that I didn't call out to come back to work to get everyone sick. Stupid. And I called out and I said, hey, I'm really sick. I'm sorry, I can't come in. And they fired me for it. You know, and I'm just like, wow, I'm like, yo, I can't fuck with these jobs anymore. I can't do it. Like, I'm like, I gotta make my comic book and stuff like happen and be a thing where I can financially support myself and make some money to feed myself and, you know, put clothes on my back. And I'm grateful that I've been able to do that during a pandemic. And and doing this, like I'm like, I'm happy about the TV thing. I'm extremely happy that it's Prentice. I have had, I won't get too deep into it, but there have been like, David Crownson True Hollywood Stories where, I've had people that like, not all, some people were great and amazing. Some people had crazy ideas. They were like, what if like, Harriet was played by Beyonce? And I was like, no,
No.
that's not the move. I promise. I love Beyonce, but that's not the move.
Right.
It's like, oh, but it's like, you'll make a lot of money, and that was a hard walk. I'm like,
It was like,
I'm
not
like, I'm really,
jeopardizing my integrity here.
I know, but I was like, I ain't gonna jeopardize my integrity. Then my it was like the summertime, and the air conditioning in my car broke, and I was like, it's gonna cost $600. It's gonna cost $600 to fix this. I was like, I really need it. I was like, but
Maybe Beyonce is a good idea.
I was like, maybe we can, but no, like slept on it, and I was like, it's a terrible idea. So walked back and was like, I will take this money, but Beyonce can't be Harriet,
Right.
and here is why. And I'm like, it has to be a dark skinned actress who is just a solid powerhouse actress. And then I gave him a laundry list of dope Black actresses, and they were like, yeah, we'll think about it. And they're like, David's not going to work out, sorry. And I was like, oh. But it was a very hot summer.
No.
But I'm happy for where I'm at now.
That's amazing. Now, finally, what does your 2022 look like? What does the rest of the year look like for you?
The rest of the year is there will be an announcement about Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, specifically, who I'm working with on it, and where you can watch it. You can probably guess, because this is flowing through Prentice's
right,
like Disney deal. It ain't gonna be on Disney Plus, y'all. Chill. Yeah. If it is, like, Disney Plus has become increasingly violent now. It's like, no, it could be on Disney Plus. No, I love Disney Plus. But more stuff will be announced about the Harriet show, and Nightmare in Newark will come out, and hopefully and more Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer comics are coming.
Good. I was going to ask that.
Yes, talking to a legendary veteran Black artist to do issue 7. I won't say who, but he's legendary Black artist who worked for DC. He did a lot of Justice League, and he did mainly all of the Justice League books in the 80s and 90s. Legendary Black artist, and just a great guy. I was like, you have to do this. And he's like, I'm down. I was like, all right, cool. And hopefully I'll do. I wanted to release another book under my like Kingwood umbrella. It's about a retiring assassin named Beatrice, and she's a Black woman who's kind of feeling kind of broken inside, because she's been a hired assassin, and she's like the best. She's good at it too. So she's like, I'm gonna like retire from this. This is fucking me up too much. And she meets this guy in her apartment building when she's doing laundry, and she like clicks with this dude, this like tall, like kind of Winston Duke dorky guy, and they start dating, and she falls in love with this guy. And so she's retiring from being a hit woman, and she gets her final assignment. And how it works is, once you get your assignment, you have 48 hours to deliver on your hit, and if you don't deliver on your hit, you're labeled a liability, and the assassins come and kill you. So she's like, all right, let me just jump on this. So she gets the assignment, and it's her boyfriend. Because her boyfriend's like this lawyer, and he's like getting too close to prosecuting these mobsters, so they get a hired hit on him. So she's like has to decide, is she gonna like kill this dude or like not, run away with him and try and protect him. And she chooses to be with him and stuff, and they go on the run. And she has to like fight off all these assassins, and it's like this epic like John Wick but with a black woman romantic comedy, and it's called Killer Bee because her name's Beatrice and she's a freaking dope ass killer. Yeah, I wanted to release it like this month, so I talked about it a year ago, and then Prentice had to come and ruin everything. Prentice is like, I want you to write 3 episodes of television for Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, and we're gonna start rocking and rolling. He's like, how dare you, Prentice Penny? Well, I don't know if that's gonna happen. He's like, I want you to be involved in the process of this show. Is how he is, and he's not like, he wasn't asking me. He's like, you're gonna be a part of this show. I was like, shit. I'm like, all right,
like, okay, I ain't got no choice, I guess.
I was like, I'm down. He's like, yeah. He's like, this is your voice, and we're going to do this. I'm like, all right. Like, I'm down. Like, I'm good, brother. I'm good. Like Will Hunting, let's do this. So yeah, man. So more Harriet Tubman comics, announcement on Harriet Tubman the show, and Nightmare in Newark comic, and hopefully, I'll have time to do some Nightmare in Newark. No, this Killer Bee book I just told you about.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
You
That's pretty much it.
You got a busy rest of the year, man. Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you doing this with me. This has been dope, man. I mean, shit, man. I think we've explored the gauntlet. I mean, as far as anybody who has fallen in love with indie comics over the past few years, especially during the pandemic, with a lot of us actually having a chance to get to know each other. One of the good things is your comics stand out. There's like a few that like sit up there. There's always is Nana by Greg Day. There's Okemos, and then there's you.
Yes.
It's always y'all. It feels like y'all 3 have always been the pinnacle, and then just everybody was like, "Oh, have you ever read Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer?" And it was like, "Okay, I if you read that, you gotta listen. You gotta look at this." Like it's turned into that now. You're the reference.
I don't even know how to feel about that. Well, those guys are, Greg and TJ are like dope in their own right, and they have multiple books that they're doing and pushing, and they're also just really humble, like the most humble and nicest, down to earth guys. And those guys are rock stars, and I look up to those guys. So that feels yeah, man. I like that. That feels great. Like I'm always like, I was like, me. Yeah, man. But it's an honor, and it's insanely humbling. They were like, it's like, we're gonna put your comic book in a museum. I was like, what? He's like, it's like, that's what we're going to do. And I'm like, okay. Because I'm like, this is just a goofy idea I had in my room, and now it's that. So it's very humbling, and I feel good about it, and gonna try my best to make more of them. I said it, I'm like, I'm gonna make 200 chapters of this woman's story, and how she's this person we know and love in history, and how she was a demon slayer.
Dope, man. Well, brother, once again, thank you for doing this with me.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Thank you enough. And this is David Crownson. I'm James Grandmaster Facts Boyce, and we are out.